Hey guys, welcome back to Albi Online. Today we're going to cover the ultimate guide for new players. The reason I call it the ultimate guide is only for the preference that you should actually know literally majority of the thing or everything about Albi Online and should be able to ask any question by the time you're done with this video. If you still have some questions, you can still comment below, but if you actually found out that there's everything has been covered through this video, then you're welcome. Again, let's get started. When you actually create this game for Albi Online, you'll notice that this game is not like every other game you may have played outside of Albi Online. I have played 130 games, and the only thing that comes close to, and they said them themselves, that they're taking after is EVE Online. And what I mean by this is that majority of the game has quests, and quests goes all the way until the end of the game or close to the end of the game where you actually start grinding. Albi Online only has some quests in the tutorial area, and after that it throws you out to the world where you have to learn everything else by yourself or actually research the game so you can actually have some idea of how to actually play the game. Again, the first thing will happen is that you'll create your character. After you have created your character, you'll be sent to a tutorial island. After you have done everything that the tutorial island asks of you, you'll be entering the home area of the new players, which is a cross. For example, for the Bridgewatch, we call Steppe Crossed. Each of the city in the world of the Royal Island in Royal City of the Albi Online will have one crossed. This one called the Forest Crossed. You go into the mountain areas, you have the mountain crossed. You go over here and you have the swamp crossed. You go down here and you go to the highland crossed, and you go down here, and again this is the steppe cross. What happens is that you should finish all your tutorial missions. After you have finished your tutorial mission as a free-to-play user, you will get 3 days of premium, which is very important. Premium allows you Premium allows you to get these kind of bonuses. You get 20 learning point per day, which we'll be discussing what learning points I choose for you later. 1,000 crafting focus per day, we'll be focused on later. 50% fate bonus, which is very important as it allows you to do more keys, gain more keys for the adventure challenge and finish the adventure challenge to get awesome rewards, awesome portraits, and awesome mounts. Again, as we look at the premium ability to buy an island, you need that. 50% silver and loot from mob, 50% gathering yield, 100% crop yield, 100% farm animal growth rate, and 50% reduced market tax. At the moment, it costs 5 mil silver to actually get that way. It used to be very, very low in the beginning of the game, obviously starting at 0, and has been increasing throughout the years. If you actually have some cash on you, you can spend some money on gold and get yourself a premium. So as you see, you can just go up here. Sorry, I'm actually walking. You can go up here and buy yourself 750 gold for $4, 1,750 golds for $10, or you can just get your premium, which is a 30-day premium. You can spend $10, $90 for 90 days for $26, 180 days for $47, and on 360 days, which will be a year for $83. If you're the type of player who do not want to pay to play or anything like that, to get the premium, I mean that you can actually farm the silver, and during the end of the video there will be some guide on how to earn a good amount of silver, so you can just pay for your premium. Premium is very important though. You always want to have premium. I have 23 days on premium, and when it reaches 0, I always try to refresh it. Again, this guide is going to be made for the new players, but at the same time, I left the game, so I'm not going to keep making guys like this, so enjoy it. Now that we have covered that with the premium, you actually start at the once you continue, you go back to the steppe cross or whatever cross in the world you are made of. Actually press it like this. I'll press N to actually see it. So after that, once you finish everything and you have done gathering, crafting, and all that in this step across, and you move on to your tier 4, because I'm sure during this time you will be gathering for like tier 3, so you can make some refinements, make yourself some gear to wear. After that, you may want to actually find out your home, and your home is very important because it's going to depend and be based on the guild that you will be joining in the future, the black zone that you want to actually enter, and the gathering style that you want to use, such as there are, I think, between 5 or 6 gathering, and I'll show you right here. We'll have basically one of them will be fiber, ores, hides, wood, and stone. Obviously, if you click it right here, you'll see them. This will be the gear for it, and as you level it up, you'll be able to access higher tier of that. We'll be covering that a little bit more later. Again, it does depend on those 3 aspects. For example, the home of the Bridgewatch has the biggest resources for hide. The home of the Lyndhurst has the biggest resources for wood. The home of the Fort Sterling, the mountain area, has the biggest resources for ores. The home of the Thetford area will have the fibers, and the home of the Murloc will have the biggest resources for stones. Of course, each one has a secondary and third, and obviously I'll cover that right here real quickly. The second and third for this will be fiber in order. Fiber, or this one I think is might be stone and hide. I know that the mountain has ore. Let's see, it has ore, and I think the second one, sorry, ore, stone, and fiber. Again, this one actually might be a little bit different. Actually, click on that. This actually might. Oh, sorry. The second one was hide. I remember this one. The wood, hide, and stone. Again, when you go to the Fort Sterling area, it will be between first being fiber, then not the hide. I think it's wood, then hide, and then the Murloc will be stone, ores, then wood. I think that's how it goes in that order. There is a certain secondary, but all you have to focus is on your main focus on the gathering. So if you're going for hide, you will go here, go ore, go wood, go fiber, and go stone. The second thing is it will depend on your guild, because some guild are dependent in one specific city for their black zone, which in case if a player has territory, a guild has a territory in the black zone of Bridgewatch, when you scroll up here, you'll find that they're pretty much their territory are contained in this area, which is the black zone. So it does really depend of which guild you will be joining, because if you join a guild that has Lyndhurst, for example, which is down here, they might have a black zone in the Lyndhurst area, which means that they are located all the way here, which is very separate from where Bridgewatch black zone is, very separate with Murloc, Thetford, Fort Sterling, and Mercia. So we cover the black zone, we cover the prefacing and the joining for that. Once you have actually joined a guild, which I know some people want to play solo, and you just gotta be careful of the black zone, we'll be covering in a couple of seconds. Once you have joined a guild and you find out which city you want to be and what gathering you want to be corresponding that type of guild, or maybe you just want to gather in here and your guild is in Lyndhurst. Obviously you'll have all your stuff in here, and then you have to travel to Lyndhurst to do your activity. Once you have picked your city, the gathering that you'll be using to make money, by the way, because as you gather, you'll be unlocking tiers of it. One of the weakest one obviously being tier 2, then tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, and as each tier keep increasing, the money for the resources does increase. Right now we have the sweet spot, which is tier 5, where everyone is trying to do. And yes, even if you don't have premium, you can get to T5 with 0 premium in 3 days. I have made a video about that, and I might put it on the description below, which I'll put it right here as a note. Skip. There you go. We'll put that in there just in case. Once you have that, this technically will be your main sources, and especially if you're doing solo, T5 will be your main source of income until, again, you start recognizing some of the things that you can do with some other people. But majority of them, it will be gathering for solo. Obviously, you can do farm, but we'll be covering that a little more later. One thing that I do want to cover right now is the Black Zone. And the reason that is because you may see this city, and each city has a portal that sends you into the Black Lands, which is the Black Zone. And again, during this time, if you actually go to the Black Zone, there's some confirmation that might happen to you, and if that happens, you're gonna be a little bit extremely pissed. So I'm just gonna go out here and walk up to one of the portal areas. The color will represent the city. Again, Bridgewatch being yellow, Forestall being white, Limhurst being green, Thetford being purple, Murloc being blue, Mercia Cardion being red. And as you see, when you click on it, you actually enter it, and when you do, you are locked to that city. Now, the reason why this is important is because if you are locked to the city, there's only two ways to enter another city to lock yourself to that city. So, for example, you are in Bridgewatch. You get to go to the Bridgewatch Black Zone. But however, let's say you want to go to Fort Sterling. You cannot travel to the Fort Sterling over here and enter the portal. No, you're locked to Bridgewatch, which means that you now have two things. You either have your first option, which is your 30 days. I only have 2 hours to go, but you have a 30-day reset that you can remove your lock and enter that other zone. The next one, if you already wasted that, which is going to be a little bit of a hassle, is that you have to come to the yellow zone and travel to the dangerous area of the Black Zone just so you can get to Limhurst if you want to enter Limhurst, or Fort Sterling if you want to enter Fort Sterling. So let's say if I'm in Bridgewatch and I want to go to Fort Sterling, now that I use my 30-day reset, I will have to travel through all these. And I have to lock myself to Limhurst, because if I die, if I get close to like right here to Fort Sterling and I'm about to enter it, right here, I'm about to enter it and I get killed right here before I enter the portal, you are sent all the way back to Bridgewatch, to the home of Bridgewatch, which is all the way down here. And then from here, you have to start all over. So as you travel your way to each zone, you will have to go to and lock yourself to Thetford in this portal. Now, after that, you'll lock yourself Thetford. You can go back out, and then if you die during this area, you'll be sent back to the city that you've been locked to, Thetford. So again, you'll be moved up, and you'll go to Limhurst. You'll lock yourself to Limhurst, and again, when you die, you'll be sent back to the city to Limhurst, which you can use the portal to go to continue your journey. And from there, you will go all the way to your destination area, either in Comtor or in Butsuk Fen, to get to that city. Again, they have added new outlets that you can actually use different portals to travel through so you can get to your destination area. Some places might be actually safer than others, but in all honesty, the Black Zone is swarmed by Zerg, and the Zerg is a term of about 10 people to 200, 300, 400 people kicking your ass. That's what the Zerg is. So this is why it's important to pick your city, and this is why it's important to be very careful when you're starting the game and going into the Black Zone. Second, you might hear people tell you that the end game is Carleon, which is right here, and that you should pretty much lock yourself to this city. Let me tell you that that's a big mistake. First of all, you don't know if your guild is going to be in Carleon. Second of all, Carleon is base of one of the most dangerous outlands out there. If you go here, it's also most of the time Zergy. It's like literally the only way, I think, to get to some of the tier 8. You can get tier 8 resources in some of the lower areas, but I think if you try and do randomized dungeon or do some contents in tier 8 zones, Mercia will be the best bet. And Cumbria, I think, goes up to tier 7. Actually, let me see. This is actually 5, 6, 7. Yep. And as you'll see by the numerical numbers, by the way. That's how they use for the zone for tiers, numerical numbers. As you see, this is a V, which is a 5, 6, 7, but we don't see any tier 8. So you will have to travel to Mercia to do some tier 8 content. Otherwise, you will have to do a little secret, which basically is you have to travel to a tier 7 zone, enter the a specific dungeon that is not a random dungeon, and then from there, you can get to a tier 8 random dungeon. But again, we don't need to cover that because this is only for the first steps of newbie things, so you can actually forget that. All you need to know is be careful about entering the black zone and the Lake Lock City mechanics. So let me look at here some of the notes that I actually put. I put some notes so we don't actually forget it. The next thing we're going to cover is the expedition. I don't advise doing expedition. It's very, very sucky, very, very bad to do. I'm going to go right into my bank so I can get some boots and stuff like that, so I can travel back and forth through the area. Probably could skip just a bit of this to get to a point, but again, bear with me because this is not scripted. I'm just gonna put something real quickly, a quick equip. I just need something to run in. It doesn't matter what type of gear I'm wearing. Oh, there we go. Again, you might see these little blue portal right here. These are expedition. You can go alone on yourself and tackle it, or you can go in a group and tackle it together. Each day they give you a silver, which is, it's okay, a little cash, like maybe 20,000 silver for it, and you can only get once every day. But expedition has been nerfed to the point that random dungeon, whatever you did in 6 months in random dungeons, you could probably do it in a week or a week and a half or something like that. So in all honesty, random dungeons, which we'll be covering what random dungeons is, random dungeon is the best place to do fame, and best place to actually not the best place to do fame. Hellgate beat that. Random dungeon is a good place to do fame and silver. Hellgate will be the best place to do fame and silver, and we'll be covering that again a little later. But in case you have nothing else to do and you can't find a group, or you're really bored and you're alone and stuff like that, I guess you can just go to one of the single area right here and do random dungeons or queue for party and expedition or queue for a party and do some expedition with a group, which is automatically input what you have on. If you're DPS, you will go there as DPS. If you're a healer, you will go there as a healer. If you're a tank, you will go there as a tank. I don't advise it, but I just have to put it there because it's actually in the game, so the feature is there. Second thing that I really want to warn players is the faction flag. When you faction flag, it is full loop PvP, and what people don't understand is that yes, you're allowed to do stuff in the faction flag because you can earn some faction with it, which allows you to purchase some of these things in here. And again, some of these things can actually sell for a lot of money. In case I grabbed a bunch of these and I got like 100,000 by doing 2 random dungeons bigly, and a lot of people do faction. However, one thing you need to understand is that in the blue zone, which there is no PvP, and we'll talk about the blue zone in a second, in the blue zone you can actually be killed if you have the faction flag. So this area, there's supposed to be no PvP area. Again, you might see some Hellgates in there, but we'll talk about that later. Hellgate will be an instance which allow you to do PvP and knock yourself in the blue zone. The yellow zone will be pretty much getting yourself killed and losing all your loot. Again, faction flag is full loop PvP. So if you're doing faction, if you have a faction on and Limhurst comes around here and sees you, they can kill you and they can take all your stuff, and now you go back home with nothing on you. So be very careful when flagging or hearing about players saying, hey, we're doing faction flags or flag for faction and stuff like that. If you're not ready to go into PvP or getting risk the chance of gambling that you will find another opposite faction to fight, then I would suggest to skip that for now until you get like a couple set, maybe 2 or 3, and then you can actually faction flag, and in case you lose your set, you can come back. I can actually speak about the zones color, because I think we actually need to cover that firstly of all things before we actually move on. Again, you have blue zone in here, and these are, there's like a diamond, but again, if you tilt your head, it's like a square. These colors do represent something when you're actually in that zone. The blue zone, basically, you don't have any PvP, so you don't have to worry about somebody kicking your butt. In the yellow zone, there is PvP, but it's consensual, meaning a player has to flag up in order to knock you down, not kill you, knock you down. Do not press die when you're being knocked down. Just wait till you get back up, and once you get back up, you'll resume to where you were. The only thing you'll lose of being knocked down is a silver that is not your main silver, such as silver you collected. It's silver from your gear, a durability silver, basically. So it's not like you're using anything big in here when you're getting knocked down. However, again, if you're doing faction flag, you're going to be killed in any zone here. So it doesn't matter if it's blue, yellow, so that's obviously a full loot. However, if you go into the red zone, again, you do have to flag yourself to go PvP, but they can kill you here. If the PvP or PK player do kill you in here, you lose everything you have on your inventory. Everything that is equipped and everything is on your inventory. So pretty much all of this and anything that you have down here. You will not lose gold, you will not lose silver, and you will not lose any progress that you have in increasing your fame on any of these, in gathering or anything like these. So you don't have to worry about losing any of that. You're just going to lose your gear and your inventory. Same thing goes for the black zone. Now the black zone is a little bit different. The black zone, you are forced to be flagged, and that means that once you enter there, you're already at PvP area, which means if you want to like heal somebody else or not attack somebody else, you have to party with them. But anybody here can kill you. Anybody can see you and automatically kill you. It's just like playing Rust. Hello, friendly. You're dead. That's how the black zone literally are. So try to skip the black zone for now until you get to a guild, have some more set to lose, and then able to go out there and pretty much enjoy the content. So that's what black zone is. Full loot PvP, forced already into being flagged. You're also going to find some orange area in the yellow zone. I don't think there's anything in the blue zone, but you'll find them in the yellow zone. And what that actually means is it's consensual PvP. Again, you're also going to find some of that in the red zone, but the rule applies to what the zone is. If it's yellow zone, you're not going to be killed, you're going to be knocked down, but both of you are going to be able to flagged for PvP consensually until you leave that zone, and then you won't be flagged. These are right here, and I'm actually going to run to it so you guys can actually see it, because you might be a little bit weird wondering why is this in here, and you should be able to know about this. So again, I'm going to use my little tiger to run real quickly. As you see, if I enter this area, I'll be flagged into PvP and they can attack me, as you see right here. To actually get away from it, you have to get out of this area and wait for the flag to disappear. Again, if you're getting hit during these times, the flag does refreshed, and every time you're getting hit, it does stay longer before it unflags you. And at the same time, if you hit them, it takes a while longer for it to unflag you. So let's actually go back down here now that we actually finished the zone areas. Let's talk about Hellgate. There are a specific area for Hellgate. There are blue zone, yellow zone, red zone area, and black zone area for Hellgate. The only difference in between all of those zones would be technically the blue zone. The blue zone in Hellgate, which if you actually, let me see if I can actually go real quickly to the blue zone and you'll be able to see it. And you'll be able to see it. I don't have it in here, I guess. I think somebody's already doing it. But you'll see like this purple-orange portal that will appear somewhere around here. As you probably saw, if you go a little bit back in the video, you may have seen the consensual PvP area, and it had a red portal in there. The the orange portal means 2v2, and the red portal means 5v5. Of course, there's a guardian in there that you have to kill before you're able to enter the portal, but the difference between each one in the yellow zone, blue zone, and black zone would be that blue zone is actually an area that you get knocked out once you enter the portal by the other players or by the mobs inside, and you'll only lose your stuff. So you can actually practice in the blue zone. You can go into any of these blue zone Hellgate, enter it, with a 2v2 and practice to see if you're ready for full loot Hellgate. And after you get knocked down, you get kicked right back out. If their portal is still up, you can go right back in. Otherwise, you have to wait for the Guardian to spawn, kill the Guardian, go back into the portal, and practice your PvP for 2v2. The yellow zone and the red zone, both 2v2 and 5v5, are both full loot PvP. Meaning once you go in and you die either by the mob or by the player, you do lose all your gear and all your inventory that you have, all your gear or the items that you have on your inventory. You will not lose silver, you will not lose gold. This is something that I did heard, but they say that the odd number represents the places for Hellgate. Not 100% if this is true or not. I did heard that some of the odd numbers represent for Hellgate. I wanted to put that out there, but again, it's not something that I have confirmed, so I'm just throwing it out there as what I have heard. The next thing is, since we actually cover the Hellgate, I will say it right here, now that we cover the Hellgate, that Hellgate is definitely the best place to have fame and silver via the items that you get in there, plus Inside Tomes and stuff like that. And Inside Tome is a book that gives you 10,000 fame. So Hellgate is the best place. Random Dungeon is the next best thing that you should actually know. And what it is, a Random Dungeon is basically a little dungeon that is located randomly in the map. So once you actually, for example, right here, if I don't think you can actually see, yes, you will not be able to see my you will not be able to see my icon. So let me actually scroll all of it. Again, during this time, the Random Dungeon can be here, 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 or here, 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 here. Once you find the Random Dungeons, you enter the Random Dungeons and able to have between floor 1 to 4, a bunch of mob, a bunch of bosses, and a bunch of chests. I probably should go into one of my videos and give you an example of it to see how it looks. And the best way to actually do that is to enter a if I will have to say, I will have to enter one of my core runs. So hold this up, and again, you'll fight a bunch of mob, you'll get a bunch of loot, which gives you a lot of cash if you get lucky on whatever drops in there. Once you defeat each boss has a chest. Corresponding chest will be between green, blue, and purple. And and I forgot about gold. And each one is better as it progresses in color. Green being the suckiest, blue being a little bit better, purple being awesome, and the legendary being the best chest that you can get in a Random Dungeon. You'll be clearing this through the corresponding floor. The floor can go up from 1 to 5. 5 always being a super legendary boss, which if you actually find it, you're going to be very excited to fight that. It will be like fighting in World of Warcraft Lich King or another type of big mechanical boss with a lot of mechanics into it as well. The portal, however, I'm not sure if I do have a video of me actually entering the portal. So again, I can actually go back outside and try to find you one. But in all honesty, it could be between a portal, which you saw for the expedition, or a little cave with corresponding 2 torches on each side, and that will actually show it's a Random Dungeon. However, I do want to hopefully get this really quickly so I can show you it. I do want you to see what a Random Dungeon is, so you can actually jump into it. I do have a video, but again, I closed it up, so I'm just gonna find one real quickly and then get on with the video. There you go, I found one. This is a Random Dungeon. I can't heal these because I'm wearing Gathering set, but basically what happens is you enter in this. I'm pretty sure this is empty anyway, because there's a lot of people also doing it in the yellow zone, which people you go to the red zone or blue zone, I'm sorry, red zone or black zone to do them. Actually, surprising, this is actually not empty. It has mobs. You kill the mobs basically, and you get to the part where the last boss is, and after that you get your loot. You leave the dungeon by pressing A, which is teleporting you right out, and then you find another dungeon and you keep going like that, which increases your fame. And the fame is used fame is basically EXP for the gear that you have, which will also be covering that. we're going to head back to the city, and we're going to right now talk about, we already talked about random dungeons, we talk about these Hellgate, we talk about the surrounding areas, we talk about the PvP and PvE of the zone and such, and now we're going to talk about the Destiny board. You will be confused with this Destiny board. It's a little bit even more confusing than playing Path of Exile and seeing their Destiny board. So basically what happens is, on the right side, all of this is your crafting. Right here is all your crafting. Some part of the bottom, which is right here, exceptional to this is refining. And basically what you gather in resources, and you refine it to have leather, leather or wood, plank, stone, ore smelter? I don't know. Cloth, and basically you'll use this for stuff like this. If you want to actually craft a bag, you'll need some 8 cloth and 8 leather. If you want to craft the gears, which you can, like this. Actually, let me get one a little bit higher. If you want to craft this one, it will tell you about what you're going to need and the amount of mats that you're going to need to use them. Now, I want to say this ahead of time before I keep continuing with the Destiny board. We have enough, and I'm pretty sure people are going to hate me for saying this, we have enough crafters in this world. You can make a lot of easy money if you look at the description below, when are some ways to just make quick money, and you can also sell your mats raw, which means without refining or anything like that. You can just sell your mats raw and just buy your gear from the market. So technically, people are going to hate me for saying that, but we have enough crafters to do everything they need right now. You don't need to waste your time crafting in this game, but if you want to be one of those type of role players for crafting, because in Navi Online you can actually become everything that you want to become if you have enough imagination. You become anything in Albion Online. If you want to do crafting, you can go right ahead. However, my advice is that you just go ahead, and if you're gathering, just sell your material raw and buy your gear and proceed from there. Once you get to render dungeons and Hellgate and stuff like that, you'll be making enough money that you will never even go back to gathering in the first place, unless you can't find a render dungeon or players to actually do 2v2 Hellgate, which then again you will going back to gathering, and gathering will be your main resource of income, so you can buy your premium and pay for your gear and other stuff. This is the area for the gathering tools that you'll be doing. Obviously, you'll start with the tool tier 1, progress to tier 2, progress to tier 3, and I am not going to go too much into gathering. There will be top 10 thing for gathering on the description below, and you should be able to watch that because it's very important. Some of these tools also have, as you unlock, has gathering set that gives you more gathering gear bonus. Gathering gear bonus will also give you more bonus to your gathering, such as for leveling up your gathering tools, and basically that also will allow you to do it much faster, so you can just start getting to each of the lower tier. Again, the left side right here is all about farming, and the left side all the way to the top side would be all about combat weapons that you'll be using. Again, fame is used to increase, as you see, if I looked over at least one, let me look at least one of them that I do not have leveled up all the way up. As you see, as I kill mobs, and this is only by killing mobs, by the way, for combat. As I kill mob, I get more fame. As I get more fame, I get to level it up. Each level corresponds into increasing your tier. So if I level 10, I can use tier 5. At level 30, I can use tier 6. Level 60, I can use tier 7. At level 100, I can use tier 8. We're also going to be talking about the enchantment of these things, but we'll cover that a little bit more later. Again, you'll be having stuff around here like Reavers, and Reavers are very important. For example, if you Journeyman's Reaver, which means it's tier 3. Basically, when you're in a tier 3 zones, you'll be able to deal more damage, 50%, and defense against those creatures, you will have 13%. When you get to like Adept Reaver, when you get to a tier 4 zone, which you can look in the map when you press M and you see it, there's tier 1. Obviously, this is the city, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, and it keeps increasing and stuff, corresponding to what you're doing. So basically, if you're tier 4, you can now have against those mobs 35% increased damage and 26% defense against those mobs, and it keeps going. Every time you get a new one for expert, like for example Expert Reaver, you'll get higher and higher and higher and higher. The reason I say this is because some of my guide does tell you to go to tier 5 or tier 4, depending on what Reaver you have. And if you have, for example, tier 4 and you have no tier 5 Reaver and you go to tier 5 dungeon, you're missing 45% damage and you'll be taking 31% damage, which is very important to have this to get your frame increased. Again, this is actually by combat, I would say. I think this is all by combat. Kill creature, there it is, combat. You also have on top of here your inventor, and what happens in the inventor is the higher you go, the more of a tier of a mount, bags, and demology, and avatar, obviously. But the more your tier increases, the more you're gonna be able to have a higher tier for your bags, your cloak, your mounts. So as you see, tier 4, I'll be able to access all of these, plus the bag, plus different kind of faction cloak, which are very important in the game. As I go up to tier 5, I'll be able to get even more selection, such as an armor horse, which I might use. It has some defenses, armor and magic resistance, and have CC resistance as well. Unlike the horse, which doesn't have armor CC, but has max load of 268 kilogram, which will add up to what you have on your carrying. Same thing for a Swift Claw, which allows you, if you're going ganking, you will go for Swift Claw. It's much faster to allow you to get ahead of the horse, armor horse, or anything like that. Again, there's Ox. Ox allows you to have a maximum load in case you want to move your stuff from one area to a next area, but at the same time, if you want to go farming in one of the safer zone and you want to increase the amount of weight that you have instead of going back and forth between the city and that zone for resource, you will actually use an Ox. Again, there are other type here, and you can actually check that by going into the destiny board. Your bag will increase, and so will everything else increase. As you keep unlocking, you'll be able to unlock higher tiers of horse. As you see, higher tiers of horse until you get to the maximum tier 8. This is actually, I think, to do any activity, which you hear right now. Do any activity and you can get this. Now let's talk about something about enchanting, and I do want to talk about that real quickly because it's actually very easy to explain. For enchanting, you'll see that some of the gears have these little colored dots, and they represent an enchanted tier. And what basically that means is that the tier is much higher than what it is. So for example, I will go down here to the market and go for tier 1 or any armor, just so I can show you. And the tier 1 is green. The tier 2 has 2 dots and is blue. And the tier 3 has 3 dots and is purple. And what I'll explain to you this is by taking out my handy dandy calculator, is that all you do is, for example, tier 1 will be 4.1, and you'll see it like this, 4.1. Tier 2, which has 2 blue dots, as I showed, will have 4.2 because it showed 2 dots. The tier 3 is purple, and as you already know, it has 3 dots, so 4.3. All you have to do to understand what this is delete this dot right here and add a plus sign. And when you're wearing these type of tiers with the enchantment, just do the math. 4 plus 1 equals 5. So you're not wearing a tier 4, you're wearing a T5 equivalent. A 4.2, which is 4 plus 2, will be 6. Meaning that when you're wearing this gear, you're wearing a tier 6 equivalent. So instead of being able, instead of being able to go to your symbol, destiny board, instead of going for level 30, which you have to be level 30 to wear tier 6, all you need to do is wear a 4.2, which is equivalent to wearing a tier 6 item. Same thing goes for 4.3. 4 plus 3 equals 7. And this will be the tier that you'll be using. So then if you scroll down, you know that tier 7, you have to be level 60. You can be a level 60 player already by buying the 4 4.3 tier. Simple, right? So this will allow you to go like to better higher dungeon with the Reaver, of course. Will allow you to go better higher dungeon and proceed much faster. And once you get to that tier, you probably can buy that tier specifically cheaper than the 4.2, 4.3, because obviously 4.3 actually costs a bit more than the tier 7, I think. Actually, let me look at it over here so I can actually make a calculation. If I were, for example, going to be wearing a staff, nature staff, a nature druid staff, and again, the flat one will only cost like 9,000. But the tier 5 will cost 4.1 will cost 20,000. A tier 5, however, will cost me 45,000. So that's saving you money. Again, let's try a 4.2. A 4.2 will cost me 95,000, also depending on the quality. Higher the quality, the higher the year. The higher the price. And the reason that is because a master quality adds 100 item power. So these quality right here that you see right now, excellent. You see how it's 1298, and I go to outstanding. Outstanding has 1268, and then if I go for good, it has 1258, and if I go for normal one, that's not normal one. This is the normal one. 1248. So the quality also increases the item power, which actually makes you a little bit higher than the tier, just a bit. Unless you're using master quality, then that's 100 power right there. That's like an extra tier, basically. So it's 95,000 for this. So let's look for a tier 6 equivalent. And it's actually much cheaper for the 4.2. Tier 7 will cost me how much? 470,000, which is the equivalent of a 4.3. 4.3 actually cost me quite cheap at 200,000 versus something that is a tier 7. Again, as you get to the tier like 5 and you want to earn higher tiers, for example, this one, which is supposed to be a tier 6, if we go to a tier 6 flat, again, it still costs more. Then we go to 5.2 and we notice it's 210, and we already know that tier 7 is 300,000, so that's cheaper. It doesn't always is the case like that. Sometimes 4.3 might cost more than the other one, so you always have to check around to see which one is for the best price for your best buck. So we're not going to look into this because this is our master quality. So let's look at this one instead for tier 8 flat, a good quality, and that will be... Hello? Oh, there is none. Oh, how sad. So we actually can't... Holy shit, we actually can't compare that. Can we compare something else then? For example, can we compare... There's no 8.3 for this either? Well, I guess we can't compare it for that either. So again, you actually have to go to Carleon to, I guess, maybe find the 8.3 of a specific item. I know there has to be one item around here somewhere. Give me like 8.3. There you go. So a normal one, Elder Mage Cow. So Mage Cow, let me actually look for Mage Cow. Will cost you 2.5 mil for this Mage Cow, while a 4. Sorry, I have to look for a normal one. 158,000 for a tier 8, which is 5.3 equivalent. 150,000. So yeah, all honesty, there you go. That will be the difference in prices. So again, that covers the enchantment area. Matt also has obviously enchanted resources, and as you gather, obviously it will sell more higher than depending on the resource, and those have the same color: green 0.1, blue 0.2, purple 0.3. Now let's see, we have almost pretty much covered everything around here. Let's go to the whales. Hello, whales. Whales of Albion Online. Obviously, please, free-to-play players, do not leave. I do have more things to talk about, but I had to give a little section for the whales. Hey, whales, how you doing? Welcome to Albion Online. You are the reason that you're going to make the dev very rich. So basically, what you can do, shh, don't tell anybody. What you can do is come here and type inside tone. So, I guess I spelled it wrong a bit. Just type insight, insight right here, and this is what I call insight tome. As you see, if I try to go for a tier 4, they'll show it. If I go for tier 5, there's no such thing. So basically what these does, and shh, do not tell anybody, what this does is basically that when you buy these and use it, you get instantly reward of 10,000 for your equipped items. What does not teach you about this is that it does, when you wear your items, so for example your gear, not gathering gear because they don't affect your leather destiny or your cloth destiny or anything like that. When you're wearing your gear, what basically happens is that you use those insight tome and it'll give 10,000 fame to the corresponding gear so you can level it up. So that means you can get to tier 8 if you have a lot of cash. But don't tell anybody this. There's something else that it gives you that people don't know about. It also gives you Reaver. I did cover this on many of my other videos, but basically, if you use the 10,000 point, you'll be already at depth 4, I think, right? So let's say you start right here, you use 10,000 point, and you use a 10,000 point from here, you'll be already adept. If you use 8 books, because it's 78,000. If you use 8 books, you buy 8 books, and that will be what? 38,000. At the moment it was at 36,000. It increased by 2,000, but 38,000 times 8, 304,000 silver. You use that, and you basically can get to Expert Reaver automatically, while also adding to this, and you can also add to these. Yup, Insight Tome also add to these. Don't tell anybody, they'll think it's pay to win, but I already made a video about this game still not being pay to win. But again, most people will actually think it's pay to win, so don't tell anybody about this, okay? Shh. Hey guys, how you doing? The guys for the free-to-play players, you may have heard of Insight Tome. Now, Insight Tome does allow you to increase your Reaver, oh crap, I already telling you about this. Anyway, it does increase your Reaver, and it does increase your adventure, and it does increase your equipment. When doing Hellgate, you probably get 4 per chest, to be honest with you. That's how I got when I wasn't 2v2. Not sure about 5v5. They'll also drop from mobs out in the world, any random dungeon. So there's a couple things that you can actually do. You can actually save them and sell them as a bunch for 38,000 silver if you want to get your premium real quickly, or if you already have so much money, you can still buy them. So you can actually gain fame in the dungeon, plus buying them and adding them all to your equipment, your Reaver, and your adventure challenge. This allows you to skip through the progress, and that'll be made much easier for yourself. The next thing we want to cover is the market and the bank. Guess what? The bank and the marketplace for each city are separate. Whatever you're selling in Bridgewatch will not be seen in Fort Sterling, in Limhurst, Murloc, or Thetford. So that means if you want to sell something else in some of the other areas that might be better, for example, let's say you have hide, obviously there's a shortage of hides in here. Players have to go to here to the Limhurst areas to get some hides and bring it back to Fort Sterling. What basically you can do is you can actually grab all your hides and come to Fort Sterling and might be able to sell it for higher. Maybe, if a lot of people are not doing this, but you already know that they are. But again, all the marketplace are separated in each city. They corresponded to that city and that city alone. Same thing goes for the bank. If you actually go to the bank, which is located all the way down here, the bank is usually always located in the middle, and the market place is always a little bit upper in every single city. So if you actually go to the middle and go into the bank, guess what? I can put this here. But what happens if I go to the Murloc? Beep, beep, beep. Please? Beep, beep, beep. Alright, so as you see, this is mine. And now I am actually going to head to Murloc, but I'm going to give you the answer anyway as I'm heading to Murloc. What happens is that Murloc also has separate banks. So whatever you have in Murloc, you will not have in Bridgewatch, you will not have in Limhurst, therefore Fort Sterling or Carleon. So be careful what city you choose to put your stuff. I go over here, and I'm going to travel to Murloc. As I'm traveling to Murloc, I also want to tell something. It costs 0 to travel naked. If you the cost actually increases from the weight that you have. So if you have a lot of weight on you, it's going to cost you a bit more. So if you have like about 500 1,000 things in your inventory, which will be too heavy anyway. And I think it costs you a lot of money. I'm talking about maybe a mil or so. But if you only have your equipment, it might even cost you between 10 to 20,000 just to travel to another city. There's a reason why they have this, but again, I'm not going to cover that. Oh, see? This is my stuff from here. And I'm actually going to bring this with me. Yummy. Equip. Yeah, I think that's nice enough. I don't need that, though. I do need to bring this back with me, though. So I'm definitely going to bring this with me. And I got my equipment and gear. Definitely want to bring that. You know what? I'm going to bring everything else. I'm going to leave the freaking horses in there. Bye, horses. So, basically, it's all separate. Again, if you're trying to come back, and my god, this mount does cost a lot to travel. It's very heavy mount. So the weight will probably increase it to 40,000, and that's a stupid thing for me to do. But I want to have everything on Bridge Watch, so I'm just gonna bring it over there. These are the teleporter, and you can actually find them close to the right side of the other of each city. There's Murloc. See, it's 29,000 to travel there. If I travel to the upper side of the world, it's gonna cost more, by the way. 59,000. Yikes. Anything that is close will be cut in, I think, in half. Nicer. Now I can put all my stuff in here, where even though I'm in Murloc, I keep all my stuff in Bridgewater. This is my home. This is where I started, and I'm not leaving this anytime soon. Alright, I think we actually cover most of the basics, right? Cover that. And I'm sorry, I have some written in here, but everything is not written. So again, if you're actually going to travel the city, make sure you don't collect too much stuff in the cross, because you want to head to the city. For example, if you start here, you want to head all the way down here to the city and find out what you're doing before you head up to the next city. If you're a guy be like, well, I like wood, and I think my guild is going to be in Limhurst, then I travel to Limhurst, and that's where I start progressing. Again, when you're traveling to the yellow zone, I think it has warning consensual. I think. I don't know if I turned it off. But I know when you actually jump into the red zone, there'll be a warning for you. And heed that warning. That warning will tell you there's full loot. Meaning that if they kill you, bada bing bada boom, you're going to lose all your shit. Now, I'm sure I did cover everything. There might be some little, the basics. Everything, all the basics should have been covered. That, guild. When you join a guild, be careful which guild you join. For example, I joined this guild, and it's beautiful. I love these guys. We did merch, and we were before, I like my old one, the Q and Casual, I think. But I do think this banner in the back right here, this looks sick. So I do love this one. So basically, let me actually go around and see that some of the guilds, the first thing you want to do is when you join the guild, look at the tax. Because every time you pick up a silver, if it is 50% and you have like 1,000, then you're giving them 500 silver. You as a new player, you want something that is low tax. This guild has only like 5% tax. Of course, there's a couple other rules that are in the type of guild, but I'm pretty sure you can cover with them. Just make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into in every single guild before actually joining. So for this one, I joined because of my friend, and it's a 5% tax. So every time I pick up a silver, 5% of that silver is going into the guild. So we cover that as well. We cover Hellgate, we cover random dungeon, we cover what to do in the gathering, we cover all the mistakes that you're going to be making, including faction flag, dying. We covered going into Cardion, which is a stupid idea. We did not cover this. Obviously, when you're in the step cross, obviously you're gonna see these are 0 usage, so there's no tax. But when you go over here, for example, into the press N. No, no, I guess you can't press N. It's inside here. You actually gotta go outside and press N. When you go into the city, you'll find that there's a lot of crafting station. Those are owned by player, and they decide which tax it will be in them. So, for example, this one is already at tier 8. I will have to pay the user fee. Have to pay is like 39%. It's durability for the food, and obviously these crafting does give a return even without using focus. Guild Island crafting does not give return, but you can use your focus to get return on them. A majority of the time they do want to use some of these, but you will have to find a cheaper one. So for example, I want to find a cheaper one from this one. 39%. Here's one, but it's custom. Custom means that it's not for the public. I need another one. I need another one. Give me this one. 25%. That's much better. Let's actually go down here. We have 29%. How about you? You're also 29%. Shoot, I would probably put mine on 20% and whoop everyone's ass. 29%. And again 39%. So you will skip all the big ones. Same thing for hide. If I'm doing hide in here, 39%, 39%. Come on, 29%, but it's custom. Yeesh, 29%. And 29%. You can actually go to other city as well if you really wanted to. You can travel to here and see if anybody has it for cheaper. That's 45%. Yikes. Custom at least, because it's not for the public. Man, holy goodness gracious, that's horrible. Ooh, oh, but that's T2. See, that's a tier 2, so obviously no wonder it's a little cheaper, because you can't do tier 4 on a tier 2 area. Tier 4 right here. It seems to be for the, oh, that's a tamer. Sorry, that's not. Looks like a leather though, I swear. But yeah, a tainer. Wait, are they called tainer? Yeah, called a tainer. Sorry. So yeah, there it is, 24. So it's 10% for this one. It only has a durability, means you can probably only use it a couple before the owner has to repair that. But again, I usually advise players to not worry. Just sell your shit raw. You're gathering raw, because once you start doing random dungeons and all the stuff that I link on the description below, you should be fine in making money. I don't even gather anymore. And let me tell you something. I gathered during the days that the prices were like 200 silver for the T5, and I still made a like 18 mil. But again, that's because I had some high spec and stuff like that. So for you could just sell it the T5, sell it raw until you start getting to the higher area where you can get tier 7 and tier 8 around here. I think if you click right, let me see. Wow, that's actually big. If you click on some of these, I can actually find the area that has resources. So see, this goes up to tier 6. There it is, 5, 7. So here I can go up to tier 7, and you can keep looking around until you find one that has tier 8 resources. Like this one, I think has up to tier 8 resources. See. But again, you'll be making a lot of money through Hellgate and through random dungeons and such, so you don't need to actually worry about it. Please look at the description below to allow yourself to get some pointers. Again, I am trying to cover, trying to look at a summary of everything to see if I cover everything, because I know I'm missing something. Look at the map. Islands. Should have known that I was actually missing something. Islands. Once you get premium, you can buy islands. Should have known that from reading the premium on top of the right side. And what happens is, when you have an island, you can actually use your focus. There are better things that you can use your focus on, but if you're the type of player who just literally just want to use their focus and go back out there to Hellgate and render dungeon, that's not bad a place to use it. So again, I'm actually going to go to one of my islands, and what happens is during the islands, you can upgrade your islands. And when you do upgrade your islands, you get more plots and more area to farm and to build houses and laborers and stuff like that. And if you're wondering, I will put I'm gonna put a bunch of videos in the description below, which gives you some information about the game, just in case I didn't cover it. So again, I'm gonna run up here. This is my island. It's fully maxed. I see I can put like a bunch of houses here, craft a bunch of things in here. You just gotta press H, and from here you can actually craft all of these things here, so long as you have the material. Click on the eye right here to see the material that you're going to need. So you can craft it. And for example, if I want to do it like a little house, guild house is not in here because you can't do guild house in this. A noble house, I can do it noble house, and basically I will pay 33 and 180 of those corresponding resources, and then after that you can click on the house and upgrade them to higher tier, which will use higher tier resources corresponding to what tier you're actually going to keep increasing it to. So again, I got these carrot seeds, which I'm going to be getting a 200% yield, which I'm going to also be getting like this beautiful 2 bags, which in a day for 3 islands I get about 300,000 silver. I don't know what the hell was that. Something just went down from here. Again, there'll be about 300,000 silver for my 3 islands per day until I run out of focus, and then every day I get focus. I'm actually going to put some videos on the bottom for the focus, but basically you can use focus for refining. I think I said that, and you can use the focus for farming, which is basically what you see up here. You can go and farm many things. If you press B, you can go down here for the carrots, plant each one of these. You can go do herbalism, you can do animal breeding, you can become a chef for crafting, I think, some of the food and stuff like that you can. And I think, well, actually for the farming will be just herbalism, crop, and animal breeding. That's what it is. So again, if you just want to buy your islands and invest just a little bit amount on it, so you can actually get some small profit by using your focus on it, then you can actually do that. For now, my best suggestion is doing the random dungeons and stuff like that until you get your premium. After you get your premium, go right ahead and do whatever you want from step by step that was shown on this video. I'm sure I cover everything. I really hope that I cover everything. If I have not covered everything, please write a comment on the description below. A comment below, and basically tell me if I missed anything. Again, once you get enough fame for stuff like that, you'll be able to get some cool mounts in here. These later on, after like a week or two after everybody have sold their shit, will probably sell for $1 million and something like that. Obviously, I might start doing some of these things as I play other games, because I can do this just with farming. I can spend 15 minutes, get my adventure up, get my treasures in here, and that way I can get a lot of money. And I actually have one in Carleon, and I do want to show you one of them. I do want to open it up. I want to show you one of them for the prices inside. The prices increases. It really depends on some of the chests. Like there was a chest in there that when I opened it, I got this Morgana chest and 5.2, and that instantly sold for like 880,000 silver, which I was very excited to have. So just for this video, I am going to go to my bank in Carleon, which again, all banks are separate. I put some stuff in here because in Carleon you can bring your stuff in there. So there's some. Ooh, perfect. That's what I needed to cover too. Thank God that I said that. So I'm gonna get my chest, which is right here. I'm gonna get some bags just in case, and I'm gonna get this chest, which was for the Adventure Island. Something I really want to cover real quickly is when you go to Carleon and stuff like that. Let's say you go from Bridgewatch to Carleon, traveling all the way through here. Once you get to the portal for Carleon to travel back to Bridgewatch, you can't. And you can't bring anything from Bridgewatch or any other Royal Continental area into Carleon. That's the exception rules. So if you actually come here naked and you try to set your home in here and stuff like that, and you get a bunch of mats and stuff like that, you will have to go manually all the way down here or get an escort from someone, because all these dangerous areas of the red zone, you'll have PK trying to kill you for all the resources that you have in your inventory or your equipment. So when you go into here, just know that you can't bring anything from the outside in here or inside here to the outside. However, for islands, it's the same rules from the outside, such as Bridgewatch trying to go to the if you make your island here, the island is depending on the good thing I'm actually talking about this. The island does depend on the place where you buy it. If you buy a Bridgewatch, your island home will be in Bridgewatch. If you buy in Murloc or Fort Sterling or Therefore, it will correspond to where you buy it. If you buy it in here, obviously you can't bring stuff from out here into your island or your island outside to Bridgewatch. However, you can bring anything if you're already inside Bridgewatch. You can bring anything from the bridge if you have if your island is in Carleon and you're already in Carleon, inside Carleon City, like right here, and you can bring anything from here into your island, and your island all the way into Carleon City, but you cannot bring anything out. Good thing I'm actually covering that. Now let's actually open that chest right here, which is in the adventure, which if you don't have premium, you cannot collect some of the rewards in here. You're still gonna be able to do the daily for a book and 10 learning point. If you get your premium, you will not get the 10 learning point. Obviously, that was just for the player, which a bunch of old players start bitching about. But again, you'll be getting your passive premium. We see you have premium, you pass it gets 20. If you don't, you'll get turning 10 once you fill up this bar. Again, today will be a fill up bar, which is 12:25, which I think I have an hour or two before I start doing my plants, and I will be able to get at least this 50,000, which every day, if I can do this all the way to here, once it's locked and this is unlocked, I can always get my chest just by doing planting in farming, and I can get my giant horse once it reaches 600,000, and as well the beautiful portrait. Again, Morgana, the one portrait that I got up here, this was basically from the stats. This was no, it's not stats. It's portrait or something like that, right? Avatar. This one I got from the also from the adventure. Same thing with this one and this one, which looks disgusting. So I'm gonna keep this one. But in the future, I will be getting, I guess, this one, which is okay. It's not so big. I think I'm gonna stick with the Morgana one. Let's open this up right here. All right, when we use it, bada bing, bada boom, we got ourselves a red carpet, a decorated place. We got some mats open to sell. We got this one, which will give me 50,000 silver. We got, it seems to be some artifact. We got a insight tome that I can actually sell, which I will. And we have two master insight tome, and as I said, this one gives you 50,000, which can go for my equipment, and I'm actually going to put this in with the other one that I have in there. As you see, now I have 4. We are going to get some silver here, and this silver gives you 50,000, and I think the other silver, after I use this, the other silver should be 100,000. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. 150,000 just by doing almost nothing in this game. So I'm going to go back here real quickly, sell these things, and that should be probably the end of the video, in all honesty. There will be a lot of description links in the description below. This, for example, the top 10 thing gathering. Oh, sorry, the top things gathering that you should know is very important. I will put it down there. I will put something about the farming. I will put the random dungeon link for skipping. You can do random dungeon from normally for money and fame. Oh, he got a ghost. He got a ghost. Nice. It's a ghost pup. So again, I'm gonna take this out and I'm gonna actually sell this. I'm gonna sell this too. Sell this one too. Sell this one, and I'm gonna sell this one. I don't need this. Okay. Now, I actually gave money away. I gave 50 mil away when I actually quit the game and stuff like that. So obviously my money is low, but if you look at all the other videos that I had like 33,000 gold on before, literally at April 9, and that was just from March 25 to April 9, and then for that day I stopped playing seriously because there were so many lag, DDoS, and all that stuff. But yeah, I think that is technically should cover everything. Because just making sure. Real quickly check up. Just gonna look at everything around here. Maybe I should cover probably going to cover it a little bit. When you kill stuff out there, mobs and stuff like that, or gather, you'll get a reputation point, and these reputation points does give you bonus if you are outside fighting. Again, if you see right here, it'll give you defensive versus player if you're a good guy, and if you're a bad guy, obviously, let's see. Here it tells you, but I don't think, yeah, okay, so if you're a bad guy, you get shit. And if you are really bad guy, you get thrown into the black zone and have to wait a long time. So you have to be very careful. Maybe I should always should have been done this a little bit sooner. Again, same thing. If you're like a really bad person and just like killing people, a rep, and you're at 10,000, you will not be able to enter the blue zone. So far, everything else is just 20,000 to get kicked out of the royal city. And from there, it takes a couple of days to decay to get to back down, I think, to 10,000, where you'll be able to enter back to the royal city. So if you're a good person, obviously you're going to get good creds, and which allows you to have CC and defensive against player during that during the red zone, yellow zone, or anything like that. So that's pretty good as well. I'm at 50,000, obviously. That's pretty much it. Should be anything else to cover, honestly. Learning points? Did I cover the learning points? I do not know if I covered the learning points, but basically, I'll tell you real quickly. Once you reach 20% or 25%, you'll be able to use your learning points, which you get for premium, and that allows you to progress faster. So for example, on this one, I only need to waste 2 learning points, and I'm at level 1, so I can actually click on it, and that'll give me to level 2. And the corresponding level allows me to get higher tiers and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not something I should be covering for the new guide. This is actually for the mid guide or a little bit expert guide or something like that. But just in case, I will cover this part as well. Once you reach 100 of 100 in here, such as like this, you'll be getting fame credit, and if you use, it'll be 20%. You'll be using fame credit when you're using this weapon. If you use auto respect, basically you're going to be getting 80% of the fame, and that will be added to your fame credit right here, which basically then you can use the fame credit to level up something else. So for example, right here, to get to 100, it'll cost me 1.8 mil of fame credit, which is very easy. That's like, I think that's literally an hour run in an hour and something run in random dungeon. I'm sure in Hellgate is much better. So for example, if I'm wearing a artifact druid and I want to level up something over here like a nature staff, and I don't want to wear the nature staff, then I would use artifact druid for the fame credit to stack up, and then I'll go to this one and level it up. The same thing is right here. I'm using an artifact chest. All my chests are artifact. I'm using fiend robe or druid robe. I do not want to use mage robe. It's not great, and I don't want to use cleric robe either during that time. So what I did is I got the fame credit. I went to this. I clicked on it. I see how much it costs for the next level, which is 186. We just need a little bit more. I can click confirm, and then basically I'll waste my credit, and then I'll level it up. The reason why this is important is because you should be leveling up all your specs. There's mastery over here that, as you see, it'll give you some bonus item power to all the nature staff. However, if you're wearing this specific, for example, if you're wearing this specific nature staff, you'll get a specialization bonus, which is about 198, and you'll get 20 bonus out of 100 of 100 to all nature staff. So the reason why you level the other staff is for that 20. That 20 item power is added through all the staff. So if I add all 4 of these, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll be getting 80, right? 4 times 2 will be 80 item power, and that's added to myself. So that means when I'm out there and I'm fighting and I wear a staff, and I'm 400 for 400 versus someone who has 0 spec, I will be able to whoop his ass. Of course, that means if I had a DPS weapon, and the druid, it'll be a little bit different because we're not DPS weapon, but I'm sure I can beat someone when there's 0 spec. Because my heal will be so massive. So I see as I equip this, I'm at 1210 just for wearing a tier 5, and normally this will be much lower because as you click over here, there is a quality and a mastery bonus. Oh, now that I actually, wow, oh no, now that I got the chance to talk about that, I wanted to actually cover a cluster reduction, and I'm very sorry. I should put this like right at the beginning of the video. God damn. The cluster reduction. You see that there's a lot of players in the yellow zone and in the blue zone buying this. Hey, I'm going 4.3. Hey, I'm going 7.2. I'm going tier 8. But there is something that you might not know, and that is the cluster reduction, which can really fucks you up if you actually don't know about this. And the reason the players will get angry is because some of the players will say something like this: oh, these cluster reduction is nerfing all my powers and abilities, which means I can't use this gear to the full potential unless I am in the red zone or black zone, which contain 0 cluster reduction. And I did explain it somewhere in one of my videos, but I'm just going to go quickly and grab my stuff and able to show it to you. So all I'm gonna do is just grab, hopefully the quick setup can grab my real gear. I don't think so. Nope, didn't think so. Yes. Let me just grab real quickly some of the gear in here. Put them together and we grab this, need a boots. I think it's this one, right? Whatever, doesn't matter. Alright. I'll go out and then I'm going to end the video. I think right there, that should have been everything that it needed to cover. You shouldn't have any question. If you do, I'm going to be disappointed. This video is going to be like an hour long. Again, if you look over here and you click every item, every single item that you have, you'll find out that there's this green number. This green number goes to the enchanted bonus and the 277 master bonus. I am full mastery bonus on my weapon, so as you see, I'm at 1466 with this one in item power, and the mastery bonus for it will be 300 mastery. 300 is the number. I got 10 on quality because it's a good quality, and I get 96 more for the enchantment. It's because it's 7.2. So I'm gonna go right here and actually gonna go and show you real quickly my heals. If I actually dismount, it's my R. R is my running boots, right? No, R is a chest. There you go. Which I didn't have that. That was disappointing. Gotta wait for the cooldown. And there it is. 30 for the second stack, 60 for the third stack, 90. I can press W, which increases my heal by 136, and I can press E with W to get me a good amount of heals, 1,194. However, let's actually use my food, which is the last food I have for this one, and we're going to use the E. We already used the Q. You already know it's 30, 60, and 90. So let's disappear that, and we're going to use the E and the sacrifice to see the heals. First, the E. We get 796, and the D. We get 1,022. All right, now we're going to go back outside. Let's look at each of my stuff. Good. Now, when you look at each armor, you'll see that there is a nerf. Look at that. 354 for this one, 458 for this one, and 434 for this one. But look at my weapon. I get a 532 cluster reduction. Now, you know what I should do? Something before I show you that? I should get a T4 flat weapon. Yeah, you should see it with a T4 flat weapon. Absolutely. Apologies. So you can see how much different is the nerf. We'll get out like a T4, maybe like a T5, right? That should be nice. Let's get a T4 and a T5 druid weapon. Alright. Quick T4 right there, beautiful. Maybe the T5 right here. God, that costs a bit though. Yeah, what I would do. And it probably should be close to the same, no honesty, because I'm 400 to 400 spec. So it's being increased and probably decreased. So anyway, we'll have to check that anyway. Again, let's wear this. Go ahead and heal during this area. A little bit closer here. And we're going to use Q, E, and D. So during this area, let's use the Q, and I'm at 23 instead of 30. And during this area, I'm going to use the other one. Instead of 60, it's 46, and instead of 90, it's 68. We're going to use the E as well. 602 instead of close to 800. And we're going to use the sacrifice. This guy's have autism or something? 796 instead of 1,000 something. Let me actually run a bit because I think that guy has autism and just run it back and forth. Maybe around here should be good. Alright. So now let's actually switch some of the weapon. Let's actually go tier 4. We use the same thing, right? So now wearing a tier 4 weapon. Let's see the heals. 22, 44, 66. Wow. Let's use the E. 579. Ha. D. 796. Guess that won't matter because I don't think it goes by the weapon, obviously. And I'm still wearing the same thing. I don't think it'll matter anyway because yeah, it's 25%, so it doesn't matter on this one. We can only use this on the blue zone to make a difference. It's just a tier 5 weapon. Again, the T4 weapon is getting nerfed during this time, and the reason why is because I do have 400 from his pick. But instead of a big nerf, it's only a small nerf. 248 cluster reduction instead of the regular 532. Let's use the T5 weapon. Oh, by the way, those blob right now that you see, those little, yeah, this thing right here, this means that there's more than 10 players in here. And a different color means it's a different faction. So there were 10 faction player in there. That's something that should also be covered. But again, when you see this in black zone, it means get the fuck out of there. In here, it doesn't mean that much. So again, Q. 22. 44. 66. E. 585. Okay, fine. So we're nerfed to the bone. Actually, we're going to do it one more time with my weapon. This is actually to show that some of the players in here, for some reason, like the 8.3, lose to flat tier for some reason in this game. And the reason you lose in the yellow zone and the blue zone is because you are nerfed to oblivion. This is done so that big players such as our older vet, which happened before, by the way, it was hilarious, don't wear 8.3 and start kicking your ass over and over, grieving the living shit out of you. So again, 23 instead of 22, 46 instead of 44, 68 instead of 66, and my E, it will be 602 instead of 580 something. You I'm gonna die. I'm dead. Give me something to drink real quickly. I'm dead. Almost died. That would have been sad. This video wouldn't even come up to you guys. Be grateful, fuckers. Just joking. Again, as you see, it is nerfed. So, is it big reason to wear higher tier? No, and that's the reason why I said on my random dungeon guide that you don't need to wear like super high tier in yellow zone, only red zone. Red zone has 0 cluster reduction, and red zone and black zone has 0 cluster reduction. So you don't really have to wear so top gear. I mean, you would if you want to look good out there, but in effectiveness, it doesn't increase by that much as you see. So it's not so crazy. I think you probably have to, even if you wear an 8.3 in here, this is 7.2 by the way, even if you wear an 8.3, which is just like 1 tier higher, even that would not make you a big difference from where I am right now. Now let's actually use some of these weapons when they're maxed with my 300 mastery bonus as a tier 4. And this is something that you might want to actually understand too when you're fighting in PvP, which is gonna make you laugh. Again, you saw the weapon's ability, right? So now we're gonna heal. We're at 25 for a tier 4. This is on a Q, which is a stack. It gets higher as you see as I stack it up to 3. 75. My E will be at 660 instead of the normal heal that I would have back then. If you actually tier 4 flat with 0 spec, you can actually see what will you be when you go to the yellow zone. You'll be almost kind of like the same as that. So what will happen if I wear also a tier 5? Man. Again, here he comes. 26, 52, 79, and my beautiful, boom, 692, which is very, very good if I combine it with my protective nature. I show it to you guys. I have omelet on me, so that reduces my cooldown. Boom. And in 3 seconds, boom. Beautiful 1038. Alright, let's go back to this zone right here. We're going to go into the blue zone because the cap is further increased. And Hellgate has a cap of item power for 1000. So most players are really bitching because people who have 400 spec or something like that, or other players be saying that you can just 4.1 overcharge, which is over here, use the 70 to overcharge, and each of your item gets 100 item power, which you see it right here on the bottom right. So basically what happens during that time is that I should be putting this like this. Oh my god, I'm going to laugh if all of this was being how do I say, all of this was being, no, it couldn't be. Could it be? Yeah, it's back. For a second I thought this all being blocked by this thing right here, but it shouldn't because it should show whatever is in front. That's correct. Woo! That scared me. I thought it's like shit, I have to start all over this again. Okay, anyway. 1000 IP power is where we were. Sorry, I lost point at this time. Anyway, T4. There you go. Oh yeah, I was saying about Hellgate 4.1 overcharge, basically reaching 1000 easy. But anyway, let's get to this one. We are at 21, 42, 63, and then we are at the E 556, and that's for the tier 4, right? Yep. And at the same time, my helmet should be decreased, I think, right? Because my HP is increased because my chest is increased. So again, 760. Checking the next weapon, which will be tier 5. $21, 43, 64, E 561. Last one. $7.2 staff. 7.2 staff will have what? A cluster reduction of 612, 328 for this one, which is not 200 something, and 400 for this one. 22, 44, 66. E 577 instead of close to 800 without cluster. This is why in one of my videos for the random skipping guide, which you'll see it, I do go into the blue zone to show player that technically close to 0 spec you should be able to heal it through if you're running through, and the reason that is because I did it, so you can do it too. So here's why cluster reduction is in there. They're there so 8.3 don't come around, or higher spec 400 don't come around kicking your ass. That should actually there cover everything else. Thank you. I mean, it doesn't cover the fact that if you attack you can zone in 20 seconds, and it also doesn't cover that if you attack or interact with any player in the black zone in any way, either heal them or if heal them in their outlaw, heal them, attack them, or anything like that, you'll get an outlaw that pretty much keeps you out of away from entering the portal. And if you attack a player and you're trying to zone in, it takes about 20 seconds to zone into the next zone. I will put some fucking videos down there, a lot of in the description below. But I'm done with this one. Take care, Ultimate Guy.